August 26, 2021, I've come upon something new. Jack Kerouac, Allen Ginsberg, The Beat, and I think that's On the Road. On the Road was a novel about travels to and from the East Coast to the West Coast, the East Coast to West Coast, apparently in 1957. The admitted ride that y'all admit to is in 68 or 69, where Theodore Bundy travels west to east and to Arizona, which would put him on Route 66. There's so many things about Route 66. There was a TV series called Route 66. There was a song called Get Your Kicks on Route 66. Allen Ginsberg talks about it, and Jack Kerouac. All the things in the Jack on the Road novel by Jack Kerouac. I know I'm not saying that right. I've never read it. It was before my time, 1950. I was only born in 54. There's so many things that draw a similar, and he obviously used it to some extent if he was going to Arizona. And San Francisco's mentioned back and forth to San Francisco. Also in the Summer of Love, everybody went to San Francisco. 30,000 people went to San Francisco. I don't know. There was something about that. I remember in junior high school or somewhere, one of the teachers talking about the only thing that would get across that desert area was a Volkswagen because they couldn't get to a gas station. And a lot of people would run out of gas somewhere out in some desert near California and Tahoe or somewhere. I don't know where. I have never been west of Kansas City, and that was only a trip with IRS. Memphis is about it for real vacation time. Memphis and the Three Corners or whatever it is. Anyway, it did come into my mind. I'd have to read the Jack Kerouac novel On the Road. But obviously, this man wanted, and he talks about going to the Cascades. Y'all have got your timeline screwed up. He was here in Jacksonville. I would swear on a stack of Bibles. The thing is, he talks about leading the tour of the Nixon campaign in Washington for Dan Evans and going up in the Cascades, and Nixon's brother was there and he led the way. Highways were new. Obviously, if they ever went cross country, in Ann Rule's book, he said he hadn't been on a train since a child. Someone said he'd never been on a train. His family obviously would have gone to North Carolina at least two or three times during his childhood, because that's where his father was from, and his father had a very large family. Another thing he says is, he says, oh, I had such a weird time that summer. And you say, well, it's the end of summer. He's a pathological liar. He inverts. Everything that comes out of his mouth is insane, twisted, and whatever. But he did say that he had some kind of like out-of-mind experience during the summer of 67. He said, I don't know what the blank I did. And then another time he's out of the blue, he says, yes, if you fold the front seat of the Volkswagen down and push it completely forward, you form an L-shaped thing, and it's quite accessible to sleep in. And I think Steve McCall says, well, on down to the next thing. But he's saying that he slept in his Volkswagen. So he could have rented that Volkswagen. Also, I'm thinking about Riviera, 1968, when we went up to see this guy at Riviera with the wheel hanging from the rafters. That wasn't a thing. There was a bicycle wheel hanging with utensils on it. I wasn't allowed to open the refrigerator, and my instinct said, let's get out of here. You're giving somebody a Dear John letter. And I thought, well, he probably snuck in there and rented it. But if he was working in construction over at Confederate Point that summer just to get enough money to head back, then he may have met some guy and befriended him and wrote letters to him, and then came and stayed in his apartment and said, I'll share the apartment with you, and let me put this carousel up here for utensils. And it was a bicycle wheel. All right. Thank you. I don't know. Things come to me. Route 66 plays into this somehow too, and he read a lot. He was a verbal person. The one part of his mind that calmed him down. But I just want to prove this. I'm going to find out a way to prove it. Look up Deborah Hogue, Vicky Hogue. I've also wondered now, since Jeannie was not dark complected, but she emulated her mother genetically more than Debbie and Vicky. Debbie and Vicky looked like the Lee Major's father, Joe Hogue, the commander at Nassau. And I was around this man 15 minutes and I'm not a stupid person, you know. All right, thank you.